Hey guys, how's it going? Working on a 74 Ford F100 two-wheel drive. Gonna replace the brake hardware and the drums. First step, take your wheels off, then take the drum off. These drums can be really difficult to get off. The first time I took them off, I had to heat it with a torch for about an hour and a half, but this is how I figured out they come off easiest. Take a chain, hook there, and then one of these scissor jacks, and slowly twist it off. It's gonna pop off, you'll see in a second. Probably not the safest way. I can't recommend it, but it's how I do it. It. Once it pops, it should come right off. There you go. If you're doing a different brake service and you need to get your drums turned, on the outside of these drums, they've got what your max diameter should be. I'm not going to get these turned. Eventually I'll probably redo the whole system, but everything in here is so corroded it needs to be replaced. So next step is taking out the hardware. Looking at the shop manual here, it gives you a beautiful diagram of where everything goes. You can go ahead and pause the video if you need that, but since I have it, I'm just going to go ahead and start removing all the hardware. I don't really need to pay attention to where it all goes. So I've basically got everything taken apart. I did leave this on the parking brake cable. It's the parking brake arm. I have to reuse all of these, so I tore this apart. This piece right here pops just right off, so I greased that. I cleaned it up, greased that up. I unscrewed this all the way, cleaned the threads, and greased that up again so everything moves really smoothly. So that's good. Wire brushed all that stuff and cleaned it up. So we're gonna put these in next, right into the cylinder, but I am gonna grease the tips of them. They're not in the best shape, but they will do for now. First step you're gonna wanna do is put this rear shoe on through the emergency brake cable. Alright, that just slides over, and then you'll pinch the two ends together like you probably had it when you pulled them off. All right. And then I'm gonna put a little grease on the backing plate where you can see that the shoe makes contact. There should be 3 points. When it comes to stuff like that, there's no such thing as too much grease, because this stuff will wear down really easily. Just don't get grease on the actual pad and you'll be good. Alright, we need one of these pins. spring, and then a cap to go on it. You'll see how that's set up. Do the other side next. Same thing, a little bit of grease. All right. Clip goes on next. I'll take your cable, parking brake cable, slide that on there. And a new guide plate for that. Again, we're going to go ahead and grease that, make sure that cable won't ever... Oh, that's your self-adjusting cable, not your parking brake cable. Sorry. So this will go... There's 2 holes on this pad, but you'll see it only fits in one. It's the top one. Take your longer spring, in this case it's purple, stick the short end through the same hole that you put the guide plate in. Go ahead and hook that onto the anchor, and whichever way you find best. In this case, I have a channel locks. Cool. That's on. Guide plate's still where it needs to be. Good deal. Before we get the other spring on, you're gonna run your parking brake link up into there. Red spring. Alright, parking brake, link, top spring, bottom spring, self-adjusting cable. So next is the actual self-adjuster under there. Like I said, I greased this up already. I'm going to screw it all the way in. Alright, I've got that setting in there. It's still loose though. This spring and this will keep it taut. So first we're gonna stick the arm in there. Make sure the cable is behind the guide plate. Stick that hook up in there. blue spring goes in the bigger hole on the bottom of the brake pad. And then, just gonna pull it over with the other ones. So, self-adjuster in the big hole over here, cable hooked up, spring hooked up, spring in there. Alrighty. And then when you put the drum on, you use that adjuster to basically spread the bottom of the drums or the brake shoes apart till it's just barely rubbing on this, and you can back it up a tiny bit if you want. That way, they're already right up next to the drum when you apply the brakes. So there you go, that's how you replace the hardware and the brake drums.